As you guys can see, I'm actually driving. I just want to return something and grab some pastries. About, I don't know, 20 minutes away, 15, 20 minutes away from where I live. Then I'm about to go head to Five and Below, Home Depot, or Lowe's. I trying to make my backyard a little bit nicer. If you watch my old videos, you have seen me walk around my backyard. We do have a pool, not the nicest pool, but I want to buy some string lights and put it around the backyard to make it a little bit nicer. My dad likes to plant random plants in the backyard, and I told him our backyard is really taken up by the swimming pool, and my brother and I say we'll chip money to buy a planter box, to organize the backyard to save some space, because it is getting pretty cramped with plants like veggies and random plants that he plants. And I want to get some string lights just to make it a little bit nicer in the backyard. And then Ivan said, I want to buy like a movie projector, put in the backyard, by the pool, some lights around the pool, like a solar floating pool light. So at night it has these nice little floating lights that just floats around the pool. Doesn't have to be all expensive, something like budget friendly that would last for a long time, just to make it nicer in the backyard. Because my dad and my mom, they do like spending time in the backyard. They're getting older and stuff, but I want to make it like a more luxury for them. So when they're in the backyard sitting down, they're not sitting on like some plastic chairs that kind of hurts their back and whatnot. And Asian parents, they try to save money everywhere. And sometimes he'll take like chairs that people live in like people that leave chairs outside like for free, and then sometimes the chairs they're broken and he still wants to take it, stuff like that, which I understand wants to save money, and stuff. But anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do, freshen up the backyard a little bit. So I like spending time in the backyard too. If you watch my old videos, you'll see me doing a lot of my exposure therapy in the backyard. Because even being in the backyard would cause me to have panic attacks. I didn't, when you're housebound, you're actually stuck in the house. Okay? Even in your backyard, I would freak out. Even in the backyard, even going into the kitchen was already a nightmare for me. So I understand if you're housebound and then you can't even go open the front door to open the door for whoever's at the front door. Getting the mail was not easy. Just doing basic things was not easy. Let's just say that. And unless you go through it yourself, you will understand how it feels. And it's hard. I was like that for a year and a half, and as soon as I got better, I was happier. By late 2017, especially 2018, 19, 2020, when COVID hit, things like that. But for me, when it got better, I was happier. The anxiety was completely gone. My body, no more muscle tension, no more headaches, dizziness, feeling faint, blood pressure going up, nothing. I was normal. My body felt light, like happy. I didn't have that brain fog, that mental fogginess. Like, when I go somewhere out of nowhere, I look at my hands like, oh my gosh, it's not my hand, automatically freak out, with the DPDR feeling. And for me, that was one of the best feeling ever when it went away. And it came back in 2023 in July, so almost a year now. One day I woke up, I was up my girlfriend's house. I was staying at her house for a little bit and woke up at 4 or 5 a.m. She told me that I was screaming or yelling in my dreams. I told her I feel like in my dreams, I dreamed like it was completely darkness and I just feel like I was falling. If you ever play games that where you jump or you fall, just imagine you falling. Like, you know, when you fall or you jump off like the bed or even jump off something, you act like you can fly or you're trying to fly. You're like going like this, right? And then I was doing that and then I was like, what am I doing? Why am I dreaming about this? And then turned to her side, instant vertigo. As soon as I had a vertigo attack, the panic came. You know, my head started feeling spaced out. Inside my brain felt like it was just like turning. Like I can feel. Here's the thing, with panic attacks and with vertigo, I should say, everything's spinning. But the spinning I have, it felt like my head was spinning. Like inside my head was spinning when I was looking straight. I have vertigo where the surrounding was spinning, but my head wasn't. But everything is the same, but except your head feels like it's spinning when it's not, and that was an awful experience. Every spinning sensation that time, every vertical attack that day, it happened. The spinning lasted for like 10-15 seconds, but turn around back facing the wall, I feel fine. Turn her side, spin. So when I get out the bed, I had to turn her side so I had to use the bathroom. I had no choice. So I just let the spinning come. I just grabbed her. I grabbed her and then she's like, what's wrong? I say, the woman's spinning. She says it's not. I'm like, I know it's not, but the feeling that spinning is there. And then, you know, I freak out. Of course, you know, a lot of people that have panic attack, they're gonna freak out. You know, people that had the vertigo, it's not something that you're like, oh, I'm spinning, ha ha ha. You know, I don't know who's gonna have vertigo and start laughing because it's not something that I would wish on anybody. So when that happened, it was it happened back-to-back days. The first day happened on the Thursday, so I didn't go work because I was busy basically all day that day. And then Friday, woke up, same thing. I was like, wait, and text my manager. She says, fine. We wouldn't want you to go to work feeling dizzy, anything. So I stayed home again. She said, you know, try to go to the doctor, get a checkup, etc., etc. And then come Sunday when I went to sleep, Monday morning I woke up. When I went to sleep, I just faced my girlfriend's way. So that way I'm like, okay, I'm prepared for whatever. It didn't happen. Even on the weekend, it didn't happen. But that thought that was going to happen scared me. And then my girlfriend's like, you know, when you wake up, don't even, like, you know, just face my way. At that time, we had a baby already. So our baby was barely over a month old. And, you know, my girlfriend sleeps on the edge of the bed because the baby sleeps under her little bassinet. So, you know, that's her first baby. So, because she's going to watch after the baby. This is my second daughter. I have a 22 years old. Different mom, same dad, which is me. So, you know, from that day on, panic attacks came back. Every time I felt dizzy, instant panic, right? And even when I woke up middle of the day, middle of the night, whatever, I swear I did not care. I opened my eyes, slowly turned to her side, or whatever side I had to turn to. I would grab a pillow and hold on to it. Like I was actually moving. Even though I know I'm not, but the feeling was there. The feeling was so strong that it bothered me all day. So, you know, when it feels like that, it's not something easy to get over. And then I went to work on that Monday, and then I just felt off all day. And then, you know, I told my coworkers. At the time, my girlfriend was still on maternity leave, so I told my coworkers on the other department supervisor lead, and then they're like, "Oh, if you need help, let us know." And then my manager, the operation manager, said, "You know, if you feel dizzy or lightheaded at any time, just let us know. You can come in the office. There's like inside the office, there's like there's another office. They will let me just sit inside in the dark if I wanted to." And then I was like, "That's fine." And then at the other building, we have 4 or 5 buildings where we work. They're all not next to each other. So the other building I started off working at, they actually have a sofa inside the office. So if I wanted to go there to sit down and sleep, take a rest and whatnot, I could. So I went there during my first break and just lay on the couch for 50 minutes. For lunch, I went in there for half an hour because we only have half an hour lunch. Just went there and laid down, and then the department manager for that building, he was there. He's like, "I'll turn off the lights for you. Let me know if you need anything." I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And because I didn't really want to bother anyone, but they noticed that I was having panic attacks. So so they just asked, if you need anything, I don't go running into the back and hide anything. And for me, when you have a panic attack, you have the urge to run away. You have to have it where you're at. If you're having it at work, just have it at work. Just don't try to escape it, because when you're trying to run away from your own panic attacks, it doesn't help. It just makes it worse. The more you're scared, the faster your heart rate pounds. Right? I know that because my heart started racing like crazy when I was trying to run. I started getting dizzier. Everything increased. While I was doing, the panic will last longer if I ran. Like last night and this morning had at least 3 or 4 panic attacks. And what did I do? I got off my bed, went to take a shower, eat, went back to sitting down. I didn't really do much today. Sundays is like my lazy days, and it's hot. I don't do well in the heat at all. Even before I had panic attacks, I never really did good in the heat. When it's hot, I just feel like sticky, I can't sleep. And this is way before I had panic attacks. Well, now having panic attacks once again with the heat, it sucks. But driving around having a panic attack. I don't know if I mentioned this. This is the other thing. When you have anxiety, you tend to forget. Yesterday when I was driving, I had like 2 panic attacks. I had one when I was heading towards my girlfriend's house to drop something off to her, and then I had one when I went home. I stayed on the driveway for a little bit, and then I was like, "Oh my God, I need to get out here." And then I left when I went home. I didn't go home. I just went to walk around this park that I used to go to. You still have water, and I used to go fishing there, but right now there's no fishing there. There's barely any water. It's the only place I have ever caught any fish. So then used to catch like carps, bluegills, and bass, largemouth bass and smallmouth bass. I don't really eat the fish I catch. I usually only eat salmon, but they don't have salmon there. They have sturgeon, but I never eat that. I only eat salmon. Fish I ever like and eat will be salmon, and that's pretty much it. As far as for whatever reason, Right? Sometimes, like when I'm having a panic attack, they can last for 5 minutes, go away for 10 minutes, and have another one. It's like, okay, I feel fine for that 5 minutes, and then it comes back. And then sometimes the panic attack lasts for an hour, for example, right? And then it takes me, sometimes those panic attacks that last for an hour might not be the worst ones. They're like, oh, just little bit of anxiety, a little bit of a panic. But sometimes the ones that are really bad lasts for 5 minutes, but within that 5 minutes, it feels like a nightmare. It feels like an hour, not 5 minutes, but it feels like an hour. And then by the time I calm down, I might have another one. That's the thing with panic attacks. Sometimes once it's over, right, and then the length to calm down is another thing. And then by the time you calm down, you have another one, and then you might have another one. Sometimes you have multiple panic attacks, and then you get tired, and then you sleep, then you wake up, then it's there. Here's the other thing. Back in 2016, when I was housebound, like my panic attacks usually come on during the day. I want to say around 10 a.m. It comes on, it starts, and then it slowly goes away for around like 3 or 4 o'clock for like 2 or 3 hours sometimes, and then it comes back until like around 9 p.m., 10 o'clock. Then it slowly goes away all night long, right? From like, let's say 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., all the way to 9 or 10 a.m., right? When I say goes away, I might not have a panic attack, or if I do, it's not anything too bad. So what did I do? I stay up all night because I was already housebound. I quit my job of 7+ years. I quit my job. I'm like, okay, I'll just stay home. I have money saved up for for bills and stuff. And then tax season was coming, so I would get a couple of $1,000 to add on to whatever I have. So I'm like, okay, that works. And then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, once the panic attacks will actually go away, maybe I'll start looking for a part-time job because days becomes weeks becomes months becomes a year. And then I'm like, oh my God, a year of having panic attacks already. And then, the money that I have saved up, those thousands, became hundreds, slowly become hundreds, became dollars, right? And then became nothing. And then I'm like, oh great, now I couldn't get unemployment because I quit. Now if I got fired or laid off, and I would have had like an extra 3 months of income. Might not be much income, but it will still add on to what I was having. So my girlfriend at the time, my ex, she got paid every month, and she wasn't making much because she works at the school. So and it was kind of hard for us because we were living off check to check, and so it was hard on both of us. We cut back on a lot of things that we do, like going out to eat, going by like shopping and stuff like that. So I told her, whatever money you have, just use it for yourself. I have enough clothes because I was staying home, right? And it's the other thing. At the time, I was already housebound. I barely even wanted to take a shower because I had panic attacks, multiple panic attacks while I was taking a shower, and I could not be home alone. But when I was home alone with anxiety, I would freak out. And being in my late 30s, early 40s at the time, can't be home alone, that was embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie, that was embarrassing. And then my parents stay home because they retired, but when they had to go doctor's appointment or like grocery shopping, they would tell me like 2 or 3 days before they go, and then the day that they go like the night before they go, they tell me, oh, in the morning we're going to go at this time, we'll be gone for X amount of hours, and then in the morning they tell me, oh, they're going right now. I was like, oh my God, don't need to tell me multiple times, just tell me 3 or 4 days before. That's it, because the more you tell me, and then I start counting the days. I'm like, oh great, I'll be home alone for 3 hours, let's say, in 3 days, and then I count down 2 days, and then 1 day. But a lot of those days, I'm not always home alone. My ex was home. My oldest brother was home, right? So I was really going to be home alone for like an hour, maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe sometimes. But every time they start counting down, every time I start counting down those hours and whatnot, it just freaked me out even more and more. And little by little, I was finally able to be home alone with anxiety. And my girlfriend at the time, my ex, she only works about 5 minutes away from the house. So she works a couple hours in the morning, goes home for a couple hours, and then go back to work. But when she goes home, she either just lays down with me, or she's like, on the computer just like being on the computer. So at night, when she finally goes to bed around 10, 11 o'clock, she sees me sitting down in the middle of the dark, like in our room with no lights on. Here's the thing, I could not handle being around lights at the time. When I couldn't even watch TV at night because I would freak out. I would have my phone. I would watch like random TV shows, movie, cartoons, whatever. And that's how I fell asleep. But when she came in, she grabbed my hand, put her arms around me, and put my arm around her, slowly laid me down, and I felt relaxed, instantly fell asleep. Little by little, she stopped doing that, and then we were no longer together, and her and our daughter moved out. I didn't see my daughter for, I want to say, 8-9 months, and then one day I texted my daughter on her birthday, and then she replied, "Who's this?" Because I had to use a text app number because I couldn't pay for the phone bill anymore, so I had to use a text number for a Wi-Fi message. Then I said, "Oh, it's your dad." I was happy, she was happy. We finally talked to each other, and whatever happened between her mom and I, we stopped talking, and we're fine now. We talk to each other, and I told her I forgive for whatever she did to me, and little by little, I told my daughter, "Oh, I'm working now," and then she was happy. She said, "You working now?" I said, "Yeah." And then the day that and then I said, "Oh, you want to go do anything for your birthday?" She said, "Sure, let me tell mom." And then her mom said, "Yeah, go ahead and go with your dad." Went to the mall. I said, "You want to come over to the house?" She said, "Yeah, I want to see grandma and etc." She walked in. At first, my mom didn't realize it was her, and then my mom's like, "Who's this?" And I said, "It's me, Grandma. It's me, Christine." And got emotional. Then my oldest brother came home and said, "Who's that? And he said, "Is that your girlfriend?" I said, "That's Christine." And then it's like, "What?" That's my daughter's name, Christine. And then I remember that day like it was just yesterday, but it was back in It was back in 2019. I started working again back in late 2018, towards the end of the year. I want to say late November or early December. And then, I didn't see my daughter from sometime in July 2018. 2018 all the way to May sometime. Okay, so I didn't see her in sometime July 2000 and what you call it, 2018 all the way to May 2019. So for me that was like one of the hardest things that I've been through. Besides my brother passing away, a family member passing away, even me talking about it, thinking about it, it puts a lot of stress in my mind and body. But it is what it is, and I no longer work at that company. I only worked there for like 2 years, and then I'm working where I'm currently working now, where I met my girlfriend now. Been working here for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in July. Here's the funny thing. Maybe not funny, but in July, a lot of things happened to me. My ex left me in July, right? I quit my previous job of 7 or 8 years in July, and then the first July I had panic attacks. I remember there was months where not months, but I want to say 2 or 3 days with me with no panic attacks, and then that was in 2016. Sometime 2016 July. So, and then I was like, I wonder if I can actually go back to. What if I go back to where I work? Would they hire me? But then the third day, I should say, the panic attacks came back, and then after a while, when it came back, I was like, I was extremely upset at myself, but and then after that, when the panic attacks came back, I was upset. I was like, man, those couple of days without anxiety made me so happy. And then next thing you know it, I started having more and more panic attacks. That did it, and then I didn't want to leave the house again when the panic attacks came back. And when the panic attacks came back, I started to have more symptoms, more sensation. Here's the thing. When it came back, I couldn't even go to the front of my house. Every time I took a couple of steps, I'm about to go to let's say the kitchen, for example. Couldn't go. As soon as I get near the kitchen, I freak out. The panic attacks came. Right? Stuff like that. And then I told my parents, I'm like, how am I gonna eat? And they said, it's okay, just eat in your room. In my room, family members came over, friends came over, my family friends came over. They know I have anxiety. They told their mom. They told my mom, say, is it okay to see me? But I told my mom, say, no, I can't see anyone like this. And then they stayed there for a couple hours, and then they talk quietly. But here's the other thing: for whatever reason, when I have panic attack, my sense of hearing, seeing, touch, my senses, I can hear things so much better. My eyesight so much better, and I didn't understand what's going on. So, and then little by little, I start leaving the house. I didn't start leaving the house till doing exposure therapy to 2017, May of 2017. I started watching Billy on YouTube. Inside the United, he did that 30 days of May challenge. So I did the same thing, and then we challenged each, every day we did something. Either I went outside to the backyard for a few minutes, go outside, get the mail, talk to someone, go outside, call someone, a friend, a family member, or whatever, text someone, go on the computer for a little bit because going on the computer caused me to get dizzy. Watching TV made me dizzy. Going for walks, bike wise, car wise. So we challenge we each other. Well, we challenge our own mind. So that helped me. So I started doing that. So every day I would go somewhere. Going for walks, bike ride, going to the store for a little bit. Half an hour, few minutes here, half an hour there. An hour, and then little by little, the body tension from me being so tensed up slowly went from this to calm and down. And I can feel the calmness in my brain. My brain's like, oh, I like this. I like this going out and whatnot. And then, by every day I went out, the panic was stronger, but also I was happier. So I choose the happiness over the panic. So when it finally went away, my ex, she noticed, oh, he's leaving the house again, but why can't he work? But I was like, okay, I was already focused on my positive thoughts. So when she left, I was sad, but my mom and my brothers and stuff like, you know what? She said she'll be gone for a month, but deep in my mind, I knew she was not coming back because I had a dream about that a couple of times. Well, so I came back. I was like, okay, mentally, it's time for me to go for a drive, go somewhere farther. One day, I remember in 2017, I went to Oakland, California, a little bit past Oakland, to visit my dad's side of the family. So my dad drove, and then I asked him, can I go? He said, yeah, sure. And because they have my family from that side haven't seen me for a while, and then they asked me how I've been. My dad said, well, we never told them. And I was like, okay. I didn't tell them, but my dad said, if you want to tell them, because I don't want you to have a panic attack and run out the house or whatever. So I felt fine. And then my daughter texted me, said, oh, can you pick me up from school? She was in high school at the time. And I said, oh, I'm not home. She said, oh, where you go? I said, I went to the East Bay, Oakland. And I said, what? For real? She was happy for me. I said, well, just call your uncle. He should be home. Call him, and then he picked her up from school because she had a lot of bags to carry and stuff. And one day, an older guy tried to hit on her, kidnap her. Say, oh, your dad told me to pick you up. And from that day on, she was kind of scared, and I don't blame her. And come 2018, I finally got the job. Worked there for 2 years. It's a temp to permit. I became permit within half a year. 2020 hits COVID. We took a week off and see what our local government would do. Then we went back to work, but we only worked 3 days a week. So I worked, me and half of the other team, I think it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 8 hours a day. But we get paid 5 days because the government. The other team, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, we're like, oh, okay, that's fine because we're working, making money. And then, COVID slowly, I was like, okay, everyone, a few months later, I should say, back to everyone can work again. But, the whole mask thing, about 6 feet apart, stuff like that. So, and then comes 2021, we had some personal problems at work, like the warehouse manager, and the supervisor. They had some problems with some coworkers with our workers. Something about someone playing favors. So the HR department fired both of them. Then we had a new manager, supervisor or whatnot, and then things became different, and then I quit that job. Well, actually, I got let go because I started getting sick. Applied to the job where I'm working now. They say, oh, when can you start working? I'll say, oh, I can start working this day. So I took a week off. just to like relax myself. And when I start working that new job, I say, oh my god, what if I have panic attack, freak out, etc., etc. Because the company was farther away, about 20 minutes without traffic, 45 minutes with traffic, right? And where the previous job was only like 7 minutes. Oh, and I had a 1 hour lunch at my previous job, so I can go home for lunch. Where this one, I only have half an hour, and by the time I get home, halfway home, I will have to turn back. Lately, I've been getting a lot of stress from work. It's been pretty slow at work, but people say, why you stressed out slow? Here's the thing. Right now, there's a lot of companies are laying people off, like, Google, Tesla's, etc. I live in California. I don't know how about other states. And it's like, well, if you get laid off, just look for another job. If this layoff and stores are closing at the mall, it's not going to be easy to find a job. Plus, I never had a high school diploma. I don't even have a GED. I dropped out of school a long time ago. So it's hard for me to find like some jobs, right? And then, right now, almost 3 years. And I'm like, oh my god, almost 3 years. And, the anxiety, having panic attacks at work again, doesn't help. This time start, I wake up, I'm like, I don't even want to go work because of the panic. But at the same time, I'm like, I have to support my family too and stuff. But anyways, that's how I've been doing. Panic attacks are back, but I'm still leaving the house. I have no choice. But even if I do have a choice, I will still choose to leave. And I apologize for the long random videos, but I will say, when you have a panic attack, if you're laying down, continue laying down. No matter how hard is it. If you're eating, you have a panic attack, continue eating. Not saying try to hurry up and chew your food and choke and get out there, but let your mind slowly calm down. How to calm down? Let the panic take over. Don't do anything, because if you react to your panic attack and you leave, you're going to teach your brain that, hey, I'm eating at the restaurant, this place is dangerous. Your brain is going to pick that up and it's going to make you want to leave. That's pretty much it for me.